Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Fire Force Chapter 222. When we last left our heroes, we checked in on Benimaru's flashback that went a lot shorter than I thought it would, but it was just kind of introducing us to Hibachi, which is important because after a quick check-in with Joker and a prayer session with Haumea, we go to Adola and we see Hibachi's doppelganger rising out of the depths, and some really cool visuals there, along with Burns' doppelganger. And that's the cliffhanger we leave off going into this week, which I imagine will be very relevant, given Chapter 222's title, The Return of Company 1. So your picture here is just Shinra as a devil, nothing big there. So let's jump right on in with Special Fire Grand Cathedral 1. As where we open, of course, at the base of Company 1, as Huo Yan turns to the rest of Company 1, who, is he in charge now? It's been 3 months since Burns died, so they have to have a new leader. I don't know. Anyway, it seems the number of Infernals are increasing, and so too is their power. An effect of the Cataclysm, I suppose. And Kareem looks at him. All these pillars we're seeing must be the real-life versions of those we saw at St. Raphael's Convent. We've got to stay on guard, Captain Huo Yan. They made him captain. I'm so happy for him. He's just a good lad. Captain. I'm still not used to being called that. I feel like Lieutenant Konyango would have been a better successor. And Konyango looks at him. Oh, stop it. I'm just a washed-up old man out of retirement. Even if they made me captain, it'd end up in your hands soon enough. And we see Huo Yan. He's lost an arm? Is that new? Has he always lost an arm, or did he lose that during the Cataclysm? I don't know. I don't think he's lost his arm already. He had already lost his arm. I have no memory of him being armless. When would he have lost it? The fight with Rekka? I think I'd have noticed it by now, and the way they draw attention to it makes me think that it's a new thing. Unless I'm completely drawing a blank here. I'll do my best. We see all of the priests and nuns of Company 1 are all, gathered looking at him. I don't know if this is a later scene. It feels like the first 2 pages here are a really casual conversation between the lieutenants and Captain Huo Yan. Whereas all of the priests and nuns lined up, orderly, silent in the pews feels a lot more formal. So I think this is a later scene. Anyway, Huo Yan takes his hat off his head and kind of bows. Captain Burns may have left us, but that doesn't mean Company 1 has to change. The Cataclysm, the White Clads, all the fears that grip the citizens of the Empire. We must fight to the end. How do they deal with the whole White Clads joining up with the Empire thing? Do the citizens know that the Empire and the White Clads are allied? I don't know. Anyway, the faith of Company 1, our faith, stands unchanging and unshakable. Let us fight to our last breath, for God and our people. La Tome. And Kareem and Onyango look at him as the whole chapel says, La Tome. And Huo Yan thinks, Captain Burns may have left us, but Company 1 will not change. It's my duty to make sure of it. And then a bell rings out, and Kareem yells out, that's the rallying call. And we see somewhere in the city, an Infernal is, being an Infernal. It's so hot. Help me. Die. Don't want to die. And all the citizens are running away from him. And a woman falls to the ground. And her mouth starts to catch fire. And one of her eyes lights up. The other Infernal, so hot. And the woman's head catches on fire. She blackens. Gah! And in comes the firefighters. We were Special Fire Force Company 1. All citizens evacuate. And one of the firefighters turns to Huo Yan. We have a chain reaction of 3 Infernals, and they can all talk. Oh, right. I didn't even call attention to that. I really should have. But yeah, that's not good. It's continuing what Iris brought up back in 219 about how everything is getting worse as the Cataclysm continues. Anyway, Huo Yan replies, there haven't been any talking Infernals into Miyamoto, and now we have multiple at once? The Cataclysm's effects really are growing. And Kareem grabs his trombone-looking thing. I don't think it's actually trombone, but it's whatever he uses to freeze things. And he calls out to the troops, "These are powerful Infernals. We need to move out and deliver the last rites. I want Lieutenant Konyango leading the civilian evacuation." And Konyango says to his crew, "Team Konyango, let's go. Follow me. Konyango, please accompany us." Oh, this is a new character, I think. Probably related to Onyango. "Yes, sir." And yeah, it looks like Onyango's daughter or granddaughter is also on the force now. All right. I'll protect you, Captain. And Huo Yan looked at her. "Kareem is serving as my escort. Please just focus on yourself, Konyango." And Konyango, sighs and looks at him, and looks at Kareem, as Kareem just kind of, pauses. And Konyango gets back to being hyped. "All right." And Huo Yan looked at her. "Please try to keep your excitement under control, Konyango. Deep breaths and all." We see Konyango, Huo Yan, and Kareem have reached the Infernals. I really like their designs right here, as the fire kind of lets their skins be seen through in patches. It's a really cool effect. "Infernal sighted. Last rites. Don't give us last rites. Please help us." So that's interesting. They don't want last rites. Do they think they can still be saved? Is that what's going on? I don't know. And Kareem, Huo Yan pauses and Kareem asks, "What are they saying?" And one of the Infernals comes out in front of them. "Kill. Don't kill." And we see Kareem starts to freeze one of its arms. Konyango kicks it, and it's sent free of the ice that Kareem has made. Konyango watches it fall. And Huo Yan says to the two of them, "We have to free these Infernals from the suffering of the flames, but their words are making this even more difficult." And Konyango goes charging at one of the Infernals. "Company 1 ain't changing. I'm going in." And Kareem calls out to her, "Hold on, don't rush into rushing in." And I can't tell if this shot here is supposed to be Konyango losing her balance or her just rushing straight into the Infernal. It looks to be the latter, as she goes in, but then the Infernal causes an explosion and Konyango is blasted back. And the Infernal materializes an arm, a claw of flame, that seems to strike Konyango. But just then, another thing of ice comes in, and I think the ice, gets all over the Infernal's arm, which stops it from using its flame powers for a moment, as Huo Yan, lunges in, fingers ready, and, strikes the Infernal. "Lantern Fist! La Tome!" And it looks like it kills the Infernal. The Infernal reaches its rest. And Huo Yan turns to Konyango. "Are you alright, Konyango?" "Yes, sir." And just then, a piece of ice hits Konyango in the head. "Oofed." And Kareem snaps at her, "You need to cool your head. This is just like with Rekka. I have to babysit another hothead who charges in. What a pain." And Huo Yan and Kareem turn to the other two Infernals. "There's 2 left." "Yeah. Well, it's like Konyango said. Company 1 isn't going to change." The Infernals turn to them. "It hurts. Don't kill us, please." And Huo Yan says, "We will free them from the flames, but delivering the last rites as painlessly as we can." "Then we better hurry." "Let's get started." And the Infernal speaks in a full sentence now. Why is it you can kill us without a second thought?" We see what looks to be maybe the end of a cloak kind of wish is the sound effect it gets. And Huo Yan grits his teeth as in comes the doppelganger of Hibachi to destroy the 2 Infernals. No last rites there, just utter decimation. And Huo Yan looks at it. Demon? And Benimaru, we cut to Benimaru and Asakusa, and he looks up and twitches and grits his teeth. Benimaru senses his deceased master. An impossible reunion will lead to a chaotic brawl. To be continued chapter 223, The Roughneck Departs. Okay. So, jumping right on in, there isn't a whole lot going on here for much of its runtime. Not runtime, it's a manga. It doesn't have a runtime, but you know what I mean. There's new Infernals. We see an example of how the Cataclysm was infecting rates of Infernalization, both with the idea of chain reactions of Infernalization, which I think is a new concept, as well as, for the first time since the Miyamoto incident, way back in like chapter 20-something, we have 3 talking Infernals in one place. That's new. And that's bad. It's a growing sign of how much the pillars are influencing the strength of all flame humans, both Infernals and second and third gens. And beyond that, it also introduces us to Konyango, who may or may not be important later. We'll see, not from a lore standpoint, just as like a new character. We have Huo Yan's promotion to captain. We have a pretty decent fight scene with the Infernals. It's not great. But of course, the big moment is Hibachi's return, or the Hibachi doppelganger arriving in Tokyo. Yeah, that's not good. From the little bit we saw of Hibachi in the flashback, that's not good. It's not quite as big as like if Burns was showing up, just because Hibachi is not as developed a character as Burns was. Given that he was introduced all of 2 chapters ago. But yeah, we know that he's a threat, and we know he means something to Benimaru. And given the next chapter is titled The Roughneck Departs, it does look like the Benimaru will be going to Asakusa, or not to Asakusa, to Tokyo, to deal with fucking his dad, grandpa, mentor, whatever the relationship is there. We're definitely going to get more about it, as Benimaru has to deal with the ghost of his past. So that's all I have to say for this video. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!